Okay, so hello everyone. We're here for a webinar on our data catalog, an Octopi data catalog. My name is Irit. Most of you probably already know me. I'm a customer success manager here in Octopi. And joining me is Amichai, who is the product manager for the data catalog in Octopi. He will introduce himself and he will be sharing the presentation, and I think we can start from here. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Amichai Fenner, product manager here at Octopi. I will be sharing in one moment. Small technical difficulty, one moment.
Amichai, please try it right now. I made you a host.
Made me a host, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Irit, do you see the correct screen? Everything good?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So welcome guys to the Octopi new automated data catalog. Amichai is presenting and we're going to share this webinar. So Amichai, can you move on to the next page? It will be great. You're joining us today since you've already implemented Octopi in your different organizations and you are enjoying our Octopi capabilities and the different models we have in Octopi. Recently, in the past few months, we have launched a new model. It's parallel model to the Lineage and Discovery. It's on the same URL, but it's in another model. And the new model is named Data Catalog. This model actually is relevant to all business users and not just for the BI. If up until now, most of the Lineage and Discovery usage is done by the BI departments or the ID department, this time the Data Catalog is valuable for the entire organization. Today in this webinar, what we're going to see is the new model and its new features and how it is connected to your current and existing model, and what you're going to benefit from using the data catalog. Amichai, yeah.
Okay, so basically let's talk about the challenges a little bit first of all. So the amount of data, of course, is growing all the time. The demand.
Amichai, we can't hear you. Amichai? Okay. Let's try again. Wait a minute. I'll take over and I'll become the host and you will see it from my screen. Give me a minute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Small technical difficulty. I replaced the speaker. I hope it's Irit. If at any point we don't hear again, please let me know. Okay, so guys, the amount of data you are tasked with dealing with on a daily basis is growing all the time. New sources, different types of data introduced from all different sources in the organization on a daily basis. And there's pressure on your teams to enable different business activities from this data. It's no longer just analytics, it's part of a different product. It's not something that is just nice to have, of course. It's not something that's just for reports and so on. It's actually within your company's products. So you're tasked with making this data available and enabling your company to perform the different data science projects, AI initiatives. I mean, almost any activity in any data-driven organization, of course. Now, data needs to be highly available, usable, and of course, it needs to be, it's useless basically if users can't find it and understand it. And what we're seeing is with many organizations is that inefficient use of the data and lack of independence. The data is scattered throughout the entire landscape. Managing the data and its definitions is really complicated. Data consumers have trouble locating the data they need. They're really not independent in being able to use the data. Data teams create duplicate reports and so on according to business demands without actually knowing what's already out there. And of course, there's constant communication and collaboration about the data. Whenever this collaboration takes place without context of specific data, then of course, there's loss of that knowledge and it's not shareable across. And in the end, of course, there's just no single source of the truth about the data. There's lack of visibility, lack of control of the data that's scattered throughout the entire data environment that different data teams are just working so hard on creating. And in the end, it's not as useful as it should be. This is a little kind of sketch that I'm sure you guys can relate with, right? So for example, you've got a BI manager. He's looking for revenue data and he doesn't really know who he needs to reach out to. So he reaches out to a VP sales, for instance, doesn't know where to find this data. He reaches out to the BI manager, who then refers him to a data architect, for example, who to help him find the data that he needs. He then so he points him to the specific subject matter expert, and this subject matter expert, basically, or the architect, doesn't have enough knowledge because the previous person who was doing this role was mostly responsible for the sales information. And it goes back and forth between understanding what exactly they need and where to find it, and understanding who has the answers to this and where they can finally find the data that they are looking for. So this is something that I'm sure you guys can relate with, and part of what we are trying to solve and what the catalog solves.
Okay, so if it sounds familiar, and I guess it sounds familiar to each and every one of you, then what we're going to see today in the live training or the webinar here is the automated data catalog. I will be asking question as a business user, part of a marketing analysts team, and Amichai will be part of the data architect, the other team, the more technical team. So let's assume, as part of my role as one of the business users, that I'm a marketing analyst and I'm providing insight to the marketing management for preferred digital marketing channels. I usually use reports on a daily basis to better understand and quantify the efficiency of various campaigns released lately and their impact on our business, on our different environments and customers. I frequently encounter business terms I'm not that familiar with, and I have some questions, and I usually struggle to understand how the different metrics or the different KPIs I'm using or other people using in their reports, how they're being calculated in the different reports I'm looking at. In the marketing department, we actually use different terminologies from different departments in the organization, since we're working with internal and external vendor and social media, so we use different terms. So I have some questions, and this is my role as part of the business user who's using the data catalog. And Amichai is actually the data architect, and he will explain what is his role as part of the users that are using the data catalog.
So Part of my responsibility is to provide users like Irit information about the data. So besides for developing new processes, maintaining existing pipelines, I'm also responsible for technical aspects of the entire marketing and sales data literacy. I'm in charge basically of the correctness of the data in that entire line of business and the point of contact for any technical questions in that domain. As part of my role, I'm constantly collaborating with users from the marketing and sales departments or any user that's looking to include sales or marketing data in their analysis or report.
Okay, so what's going to happen is that I'm, as a part of a business analyst in the marketing department, I have a business question on a certain field in a report that I'm not sure what it means and how it's being calculated. I open the data catalog, which you see on screen. On the left, you see the regular part of the Octopi. You can see the lineage here. You can see the discovery, and you have at the bottom the BI catalog, the different icons on the BI catalog. Here it's marked in orange, and it opens all the different components and data assets we already have in Octopi. They're being analyzed in order to appear in the automated data catalog, so you don't have to type them all together. We just take the metadata we already extracted for you for the lineage and the discovery, and we put it here so you can enter and get the information over here. So as part of the marketing team, I would like to check a report and to search for a column in a report called Order by Sales Report Summary. So I'm just typing the name of the report to figure out if this is the right report, what it means, who's the owner of the report, and I get different results. I want to filter on the report itself because I'm not that familiar with any database or presentation layers or physical layers. I just want to search for the report, and I get the name of the report, Order by Sales Rep Summary. I can see at the top it's a Power BI report. And underneath the name of the report, I see the different tags. You can see it is related to sales and Salesforce and GDPR, for example. So I know the business area this report is connected to. Someone already tagged it for me. And of course, I can search by these tags. But in this case, I searched for the report and I got the names of the tags of the business area it is related to. And underneath, I see the rating part. I can see it's 4 stars. And I want to check who are the different people who rated this report. Am I familiar with them? Do I trust their opinions? And I can see that different user already rated this report, and it's a high rating. So it means that the description and calculation are correct, and someone already recommended on it. Beneath the rating part, there is the status. So it's already approved. It means that someone already checked and approved the information in this report and in this description. As a user, I can decide if I want to change the status. I can just open this one, and there's not approved or suspended or all different statuses that you would like to add in your organization. And I can see it's a sensitive report. And then I go inside and I check the description of the report. Does it match the report I was thinking about? And I see it's an yearly mass sales and contain detailed sales information. So it seems to be okay. And I check the technical description. It's a yearly based report at account level. And the calculation description is all the data filtered by email only. So it means that part of the reason why I see only part of the marketing that we use in social media. Okay, and now I would like to see who's the owner and who's the data steward for this report. So the data owner is Jeff, and the data steward who's going to help me is Amichai in this case. But I'm not sure that it helps me to understand only what the report means. I would like to focus a little bit better on a certain column I had problems with it. So if I click on linked assets, in the bottom of the screen, I see all the different columns or data assets inside a report. And I would like to focus on something that's called total due sum. I have some question on total due sum. I click on it, and now I can see that the column opens up on screen. It's no longer the report itself. I drill down into the column, and I can see the name of the column. It's a total USD dollars amount, an outstanding of payment, including tax. This is the calculation of this specific column, but I still have some questions. For example, is the data coming from Salesforce or from the billing system? Or is it it's coming from the exchange rate that is calculated here is coming from an external connection, or is it internal table we manage in-house? So I can click on prayer conversations, and I can see all the different questions that someone already asked, might find my answer here. And just by quick overviewing questions, I can see that someone already asked, what is the source of the exchange rate? And I can see that the answer, the source is at the daily representative rate that we ingest on a daily basis, but it only answers part of the question. I have another question, which is the information coming from Salesforce or billing? So I can add a new post. I would like to scroll down a little bit and see who am I supposed to ask this. And I see that the data owner is Jeff and the data steward in this case is Amichai. So I would like to tag Amichai and to ask him a question directly from the data catalog. Okay, so I'm just searching for Amichai. And I'm asking, is the source of the data from Salesforce or from billing? And what happens now is that Amichai gets a notification on his email that someone asked the question, and the notification takes him directly to here. And now he knows that he needs to answer the question that I asked over here.
Great. Thank you, Irit. So as you described, I now, since I was mentioned in this post, get this notification via email with the link to continue collaborating with you about this asset within the catalog. So I can provide the answer over here, and just like you saw previous conversations about this, the next user will also have the answer to this question. And if it's information that's important enough to include in the description, I would go ahead and quickly update the relevant description over here. So in this case, let's assume that I need to go ahead and investigate this, right? So as someone who's responsible for this data, what I would do in Octopi is want to see the lineage for this actual asset, total due sum, in the Power BI report. So we've got this integration right over here. We can click over here on the three dots and then the end-to-end column lineage to help me understand and provide an accurate answer to Irit, the business user that needs this information. I click on the end-to-end column lineage, and what I get is the column level lineage, which we started from right over here, the total due sum in the order by sales rep summary report. And I can see how it flows back through all the different database objects, such as the view it's coming from. I can see it's also coming from these ETL processes that are doing something to this data along the way, all the way back to its original source over here. So this may already provide me with the answer. I can say, okay, it's coming from the billing, for instance, over here. This is the original source in the billing. But let's say for this example, I also want to continue investigating into the processes that this piece of data is going through. So each one of these blue boxes represents an actual ETL process. If I click here, for instance, on the three dot for the fact sales over here, which is an SSIS data flow, I can go ahead and see the inner system lineage for the fact sales. Again, I can see the column we're talking about, which is total due over here. We can see it's flowing to the DWH fact sales. As we saw before, we can see the logic that's going on and what's taking place within this specific SSIS. We can go ahead and see, hey, I understand now what's going on, but I want to see what else is using this table, which includes the total due that's populated in this SSIS process. I would click on the 3 dot, click on lineage object, and now see the cross-system lineage and see what else is using the DWH fact sales table where this data is coming from. So now I see that all these different analysis objects are using it, these different database objects, this view over here, which is populating some of these reports at the end over here. And it gives me an understanding now of not only how the data got there, but where else it's being used and where the entire table is being used, the cross-system level. If I want to dig further into this, I can, of course, dig into the actual view to see its lineage, see the cross-system lineage for this view. But what's cool is I can also integrate it back to the catalog and say, okay, I see this view is using this table. Let me see the definitions for this view in the catalog. Click on the view over here, click on the catalog, and go directly to the view asset over here and see its descriptions and so on that have been documented within the catalog.
Okay, so now you guys seen how 2 different users can see 2 different aspects and ask and communicate with each other by the data catalog. So it's not only for the BI users, it's also for the entire organization, from different business users who can ask questions directly the BI teams and can document the questions over here. So you don't have to answer the same question over and over and again and waste your time on things you already answered to different people. Okay, so here on screen, there's the data catalog that connects all data citizens in your entire ecosystem. Now users across the organization, not just the IT, as I mentioned, all the stakeholders have one source of the truth with it, catchphrase that everyone wants to use, and we actually make it happen. All the users could just search independently for information, description, saving times, reducing redundant questions, and preserving all the data related communication and make it publicly available. From now on, if you're going to use the Octopai data catalog, you have a single platform with details about the data and the metadata, and all the data producers can have an easy way to trace their data in context and to document everything about it.
Okay, so thank you, Irit. What you can see is that once you have the proper documentation in place and have it connected and integrated with the data lineage and with the data discovery, you end up with one source of the truth about your data. Okay. The way this is enabled is you've got the automation that creates the assets, centralizes them in an organized catalog where it's easy to search and locate the asset that any data citizen, any of your users are interested in to understand what the data represents and how it can be used. And that's thanks to the automation. Instead of harvesting each one of the assets by hand or from each one of the tools. And of course, it updates every time you update your metadata, as you guys already do. There's no professional services that are needed to do that. It's all automated as part of Octopai. Ongoing support, of course, we maintain the catalog. We add additional features such as the integration. And one thing I should elaborate a little bit more about is the collaboration. Being able to have discussions about the data, being able to quickly understand what the data means, and if I don't understand, easily have conversation with somebody else and see other conversations that took place about the data has tremendous value for any of your users to understand how they should be using the data. Connected to the lineage, of course, as you saw, the different roles can easily click through and understand how data got from one place to another and where it's being used. And the whole thing together basically becomes one platform where all the information about your data takes place in one platform that's easy to use, and everyone knows where they need to go for information about the data and how it should be used.
Okay, thank you, Amichai. I think now, before we end the session, we have some questions that were asked. I will review some of them and I'm going to answer. One of the questions is, does all user have permissions to change and update all descriptions? No, we have 3 different types of users. We have a viewer who's only able to see the information. We have an editor, which is a user that can edit the different objects. And we have the admin who can run and manage and suspend some of the objects, which means to make them disappear from the information. Another question is, if you already have the information in Excel spreadsheet, can you somehow upload it into the data catalog? Yes, we have the possibility. If you save the information in Excel or CSV spreadsheet, we have the ability to load it directly into the data catalog. And we also have an API that allows you to update information or to upload information and different descriptions to the data catalog. How easy it is to implement the ADC. This is one of the main benefits that you get from using data catalog within Octopi, is that we already have your information and your data assets, and it takes a few days just to analyze it and to open this model for you, and you get all the different data assets in Octopi. And we haven't mentioned it before, but you can create your own data assets. So we can give you about 80% of the descriptions and things you need if you want to create your own description and your own assets that will help you better understand the termination and the terminology in your organization. That's also something that you can add to the data catalog. And let's see if we have something else. If you already have, for example, in Click application, the description, the documentation, or sometimes it's even in the different reporting system or in the different databases, if we can extract it from it, yeah, because we extract the metadata, we usually receive the metadata with the descriptions for you, and we can present it in the data catalog. So it's also something that we support. And the content, Amichai, it's a question for you about the content set as sensitive. Is it possible to hide it for some users?
So no, actually, the sensitive indication is an indication of how the data should be used, the data from that data asset. So it's not an indication of whether it should be hidden from certain users in the catalog. Everyone should know that that asset is there according to the sensitivity. It just tells them how they're allowed to use it and that it is sensitive. They need to take that into consideration, and combining the sensitivity with the tags and the descriptions gives them an idea of how they're allowed to use that data. However, in the roadmap, we will have the ability to limit the different assets that different users can view.
Okay, thank you. And another question for you. If an item is defined as a source and it is possible to link the definition to attribute downstream to avoid duplication of effort and definition becoming stale?
Yes, so currently we have customers that do that in a few different ways. One way is they create a master asset, which then is linked to all the other assets that are related to it. And they only provide the descriptions to the actual master asset and show all the assets that are relevant to it link. That's one of the ways that they're doing it currently. In the future, we will have the option to also propagate the different attributes forward according to the linked assets.
Okay, thank you. And we have another question. If users can search inside the discussions, yes, we have the ability to search in the discussion and just to search for every object or every description you wrote for a certain data assets. Okay, I think we're good. If someone has another question, of course, we would like to answer it, and you can email me. And if you're interested or you'd like to hear some more, or you'd like to perform a POC, you can contact me directly, or you can contact Malice and we'll set the time. And I'm sure that the data catalog can help your team and can help your organization to for better communication between the different departments. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Malice, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just gonna also say thank you so much for attending. And if you want to discuss further, I'll be happy to discuss further. My email address is, like most of you already know, but melisn@octopi.com. Please feel free to get in touch with me to discuss it further. And thank you so much for attending.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.